In this clip, we're going to look at how changing the depth reference of a pre-existing plan or actual wellbore has an effect. So we have our plan here tied on at surface 0 meters TVD, 0 meters TVD subsea. If I open my plan properties, we can see our current depth reference is default of 0 meters above mean sea level. If I go up to the actual at the well level, we've got our default, which is what our plan is currently referenced to, and then I've created a separate depth reference here, rotary table elevation, 100 meters above that elevation. So now when I go to my plan level, as well as the default of 0 meters above our depth datum, we can also select rotary table elevation, which was 100 meters above our depth datum. If we select that, we get a warning dialog telling us that we have a couple of options. If we go ahead with this depth reference change, we can either preserve the TVDs that were in our plan, i.e. that initial tie-on line and subsequent TVDs would remain the same of 0 meters and then 500 meters hold, or we can change the TVDs by the amount that the depth reference changes. So first of all, I'll press preserve TVD, hit apply, and what we can see now is that our plan, for all intents and purposes, has remained identical, i.e. we're still tied on at 0 meters TVD, and we're also, the next sequences are 500 and 1000 meters TVD respectively. However, what you will notice has changed is the TVD subsea, and that is because our depth reference has changed, which means our depth versus the depth datum at field level has changed. But the TVD that was preserved is the TVD from the main local coordinates referenced to the depth reference at our plan level. If we just revert that back to default, preserve TVDs, hit apply, we have the same plan that we initially started with. What I'll show you next is go back to plan properties, and we're now going to go to rotary table elevation, but with changing TVDs. So again, we've changed to 100 meters above our depth datum at field level. And what you can see now is that we've still got the tie-in line at 0, but our next points have shifted by 100 meters extra TVD. So this is something to be aware of when changing your depth reference after the fact that information is already in place. You can either preserve these local TVDs, or you can have them change by the amount the reference has changed.